happy day. Nice to see you. Welcome. Coming to you from a somewhat noisy coffee shop where I've been working this morning, but feeling very inspired to talk with you about making your dreams happen and how to do that now. So I am here to take your questions. I am here to talk with you about how I've done it and how you can too, and the steps that I take to do that every day. Hang on one second here. I've got a couple things going on. Everything's blowing up. Okay. Creating the life and business that you want through entrepreneurship, right? So super happy to have you here. Let me introduce myself quickly if you're new. My name is McAlister. I'm the founder of LifeWithPassion.com. I've been an entrepreneur for 11 years, and I decided to start teaching other women specifically how to become entrepreneurs in the online space. My background is as an online marketing expert. I breed horses. I've been a documentary maker. I've been a professor. I've been a career counselor, and obviously a successful business owner who started 4 businesses. And so I want to now take all of that information to support women worldwide in creating the life and business of their dreams and making their dreams happen, and not saying anymore that they have to sit and wait for something else, but to see what they can get. And I read this really incredible quote this morning. Hi, welcome. And we are doing a Q&A, by the way, a Q&A on how to create the life you want, so feel free to throw questions at me along the way. This is why I'm here, to be of service and help you figure out your next right step. I read this incredible quote this morning that I want to read it to you by Jen Sincero from the book You're a Badass, which I love. Caveat, you need to be okay with language to read it, but she's hilarious and highly motivating. I have listened to this book like several times. Here's the quote, really struck me today. It was about no longer being the person who takes what she can get, but about finally being the person who creates what she wants. Again, let me read this quote from Jen Sincero to you. It was about no longer being the person who takes what she can get, but about finally being the person who creates what she wants. And that is what I am here to talk about today. I am here to talk about creating what you want and no longer taking a stand for what you can get, what you can get. You know, for a long time, I thought I had to just accept that my dreams were maybe really far off, like they were as far off as retirement, and that they weren't for now, they were for someday. Someday we'll have nice things. Someday I'll be able to make my dreams happen. Someday, you know, maybe for my husband's retirement or an inheritance or some kind of windfall, when one of my businesses finally pays off, then I can have the life that I want. Not true. Not true. If you follow me, you know that what changed for me was when I got really clear and really fierce about what I wanted my life to look like after I lost my first daughter, just days before her due date. She passed away in an unexplained stillbirth, and I had to go literally from one day having my last baby shower, putting the car seat in the car, getting ready to go to the hospital and give me time to have her, to the next day checking into the hospital to deliver a baby who was already gone and planning a funeral at the same time. My life was completely turned upside down by the loss of Maeve. And in the days, the weeks, the months that followed, I decided that I wanted to change what my legacy was. I wanted to get really clear about that and make a plan for establishing that, and also was seized with a new ability and a new energy to make the most of each day and really help other people to do the same. And so over the last year, that's looked like a lot of different things for me, but I created Life with Passion to show other women that it's possible to create the life that you want and to thrive in that, no matter what you have been through, no matter what you're experiencing right now, no matter what doesn't seem possible, to know that things can change in an instant and that you can begin to create the life that you want today, and you don't need to wait. So that's why I'm here, is to motivate, inspire, to answer questions for you, and to talk about finally being the person who creates what she wants rather than taking what she can get. So when I got clear on that, I was already an entrepreneur, but I was struggling to break through the ceiling of the income I'd been making for several years. Consistently, I wanted to make more. I wanted to do more. I wanted to be able to give more. So I finally admitted to myself that I didn't have all of the answers. Like, I had just been going, well, I should be able to figure this out. I'm independent, I'm smart, I'm strong, I'm capable. I've been telling myself that for so many years, but guess what? I was getting the same results over and over and over. So I finally connected with a woman who was farther along in the journey than me. She had cracked some of the codes of how to make the kind of income I wanted to make, while also living the life that she wanted to live. And so I decided for the first time to really invest in myself and my business and hire her to teach me how to do the same thing. Within a month of hiring her, my income had tripled. Within 3 months of hiring her, I was in London and Italy, visiting Italy for the first time, spending time with my husband on a birthday trip for both of us, celebrating the fact that my business had made more money to be able to take us on a trip, doing a photo shoot for my brand, and really, really experiencing this kind of life that I had been living, dreaming of living, and waiting for so long, thinking, oh, maybe Italy's 10, 15, 20 years down the road, maybe a big, huge anniversary, maybe something like that. We got back and moved into our dream house, like a couple weeks later. Our house, we had decided we were thinking about moving. We hadn't been happy there for a while. The neighborhood didn't feel safe. I was having to call 911 a lot on my neighbors for various and sundry things. And we wanted to be in a place that we knew we were going to be in for a while. And so we decided we were going to make it happen. And we started looking at houses, and we found one on Zillow that we were like, what? People like us don't live there. But what if we did? And so we decided we were going to get our house on the market, we were going to put it up, we were going to make it happen, we were going to make that move, and we set it all up, and then we went to Europe. And guess what? Our house sold while we were in Europe. So we were dealing with all the, contracts and everything via text, and we got back and we moved out of our house a week later. And just a couple weeks after that, we were in our dream home, and we've now been in it for 6 months. I share all of that because it's amazing how quickly things can happen when you get clear on what you want and you go for it. So this is about creating a life of your dreams. When I was growing up, I absolutely loved horses, and if you follow me, that's a big part of my life. And yet my parents told me that they were a king sport and that we couldn't afford them. I'm the oldest of 4. My parents were amazing with money, and the horses were very, very expensive, a very expensive hobby, and so it wasn't realistic when I was growing up. But that love, as much as I tried to squelch it down and pretend that I didn't have it because it didn't seem possible, it didn't seem practical for me, that love never went away. And guess what was the first thing I did when I became an adult? I found a way to get a horse. I had created a thesis documentary project for the PBS station where I was interning, and it was about a farm, because I got to tell that story and be around these amazing horses. And when it aired, the farm gave me a horse as a thank you. And that horse is still with me today. He's 11. His name is Grayley. He's the equine love of my life. And over the next couple of years, I got to add 2 more fillies to my herd, who were each worth $40,000, which was like more than I was making in a year. But I figured out how to do that while I was building my business on the side by working with them, giving them something that they needed in exchange for something that I wanted. My dream horses, I still have them today. They've each had 2 babies. Those babies are going on to be first horses for other women and making their dreams come true. So I I share all of this as examples to you of what somebody who doesn't have capital, didn't grow up rich, but had a lot of dreams, what's possible when you get clear on the fact that those are what you want. You sort of admit it to yourself and stop making yourself feel guilty about it, and you go after them. Because life is too short to not. You have your dreams, you have your beliefs, thank you for the heart. You have your unique skills and passions and purpose for a reason. For a long time, I really, really struggled with what my purpose was, because my main business was supporting other entrepreneurs by promoting their businesses online, other small businesses. So I was developing campaigns and websites and Facebook ads and Facebook pages that were generating hundreds of thousands of dollars of leads for these businesses. And I loved helping them. I loved supporting them in their dream. But I felt like some piece was missing. And what I realized, awesome. Glad you're here. That's Michelle, right? I think. Yeah. So what I realized was that what was missing was providing the support that to become an entrepreneur in the first place. I realized that was my calling, is to show other women what was possible and to teach them everything I learned in the last 11 years as an entrepreneur. Because when I was starting out, I spent about 4-5 years in a job that I hated, every day hated. Getting up, driving myself to work in heavy traffic. I had a 90-minute round trip commute. I dreaded the entire way in. I dreaded the entire way out. I was exhausted when I got home. Never had the kind of money I wanted to do what I wanted. I was in a toxic work environment with a legit lawsuit-worthy boss, and I felt stuck and scared. Scared to quit, but stuck not knowing what else to do. I had mentors along the way, but nobody who came alongside me and really showed me how and that I could do it and taught me the tools to help me believe in myself, as well as the strategy. So taught me the correct mindset and taught me the strategy to do this and to build a business from scratch. Because here's the truth. You can learn strategy and systems, and I can tell you how to build a kick-butt Facebook ad that's going to convert exactly the way you want for the least amount of money. But so much of this is about believing in yourself. And for me, it didn't come from just reading books, because I was always reading books. I'm a voracious reader. You're ready to get free? Yeah! Who is that, Equine Wellness? Is that Angie? Awesome. You're ready to get free. Oh my gosh. I know that feeling. And I know what it's like to be on the other side. It gives me chills just thinking about it. I became very depressed and very anxious in my job, to the point where I began praying for a car accident. I began praying to get laid off. I began praying for something outside of myself that would take me out of it, because the truth was, I was too freaking scared to quit. I didn't believe I could do it. Probably anyone else in my life did, but I had a mortgage, and I had responsibilities, and I had horses, and I had this, and I had that, and I had bills, and I had debt, and fill in the blank. But the truth is, when I finally quit, after 5 years of being in a full-time job and just draining and knowing that wasn't my true calling, I replaced my income in the first month. And you know what? It wasn't even hard. It was like the people I had been working in my side business with were just waiting for me to finally say, hey, I've got time and bandwidth for you. Like, what do you need? Oh, you want a website? Fantastic. I can do that. Oh, you want a Facebook page? And then years later, because this is before Facebook ads, oh, you want Facebook ads? Yep, I do that. And so what it became was a business that blossomed more quickly than I could have ever dreamed, and I didn't believe it could when I was stuck in that job. Now, that business got to a consistent income level and stayed there for years, which was fantastic. I replaced my income, all of that, but it wasn't until I finally invested in myself that I saw, like I mentioned earlier, that income triple in a month. and us be able to move into our dream house. And I noticed that the real me came back, because for so long I was, striving and stressed and feeling like I was never doing enough and I was never doing the right things. And I was doing an amazing job for my clients and they were really happy. But on the inside, it wasn't totally congruent, because I also wasn't providing the kind of encouragement, motivation, and support to other women like I now know I'm called to do. And so I knew there was a part missing of my purpose, and today I know that I can provide the full package. And so that was a part of my journey that was very, very important. And for me to struggle through and realize the importance of taking care of myself, but to finally admit that I needed some help, and that I wasn't going to get to the next level unless I found out something else that I didn't already know. If there's something you don't have, what that means is just that there's something you don't know yet. And that T. Harv Eker said that. And I was reading and I was doing and I was trying and I was downloading a bunch of free things and I was striving and stressed and striving. But what I wasn't doing was getting a better prescription through which to read. So when you go to the eye doctor and they're like, better 1 or 2, better 2 or 3, right? It was like I had these really blurry glasses on, not being aware of what I didn't know, if that makes sense. And so I would read these books and I'd be like, yeah, I'm going to do this. Yeah, I'm going to implement it. Well, I didn't have the accountability. I didn't have someone calling me on my crap, to be honest, and going, Christine, you don't need to focus on this more and more and more and more and more. If you knew what to do, you would have done it already. You can keep reading books, and I love books, and I still read a few at a time. Yeah, but I also take those thoughts to somebody who knows me personally, and who will actually challenge me, because I'm kind of a high achiever. I'm pretty driven. I'm pretty motivated, and so I need to give someone in my life permission to call me out on stuff. They need to have that permission for me to listen to them. And I also fall into the category of that Napoleon Hill talks about, as most humans do, where we value what we pay for. So all this time I was getting stuff from the library, and I was getting, had free mentors and coaches, or coaching me or whatever. I'd be like, oh yeah, that's good advice. And then I'd walk out the door and go right back to my own habit. But once I had started paying for it, oh my gosh, I was like, crap, now I have to make this money back. Now I have to prove to myself, to my business, to, all of this, that this was a worthwhile investment. I'm going to take it seriously. It's like auditing a class at college instead of doing it, instead of paying for it. And once you realize the value of $1, because some of us in college were like, whatever, it's just what we do, it's just more school, right? But once you realize that money is real, and you might have to take the class again if you don't pass or whatever, it provides a level of accountability, and that's exactly what I found to be true, because I had not invested in myself since school. And we have no problem taking out loans, and somehow amassing that kind of debt is okay, but any other kind of improvement in ourselves is not okay, because we don't have the money. I was just talking with a client about this last night, because she was scared that her people wouldn't have the money to sign up for her amazing program. And she's an incredible equine trainer. It was a really, really unique philosophy. And I said to her, most often people use that as the reason that they can't do something. And I'm going to be really honest with you. It's a reflection of what we value when we say we can't afford something. It means that we don't value it enough to want to find a way to do it. And that's what I'm talking about with being the woman who gets the life that she wants and makes it possible, rather than accepting what she can get. Because here's the truth. Here's an example of what I mean when I say we're not doing something because we don't value it. Or we don't have the money because we don't value it. We are we're putting a value and a priority on it. We're saying, if we believe somebody has a solution but we aren't finding the money, then what we're saying is, there's something that's more important to me to spend my money on. And that's fine, but it's important to be honest about that. If it's that I need my money to pay for this instead of this, okay. But if you are convinced that you found someone or something that is the answer, and then you say you can't do it because you don't have the money, those two things are incongruent, because how important is it to you? That's what you need to think about. How important is it really to you? Here's what I mean by that. If you had to come up with the money for a life-saving surgery, this is an extreme example, but I think I'm qualified to be able to use it because of my experiences in my past. If you had to come up with the money to save the life of someone you loved with a surgery, and you had to do that overnight, and you had to come up with 10 grand, you would move heaven and earth and leverage every relationship and every credit card and every bank account and every opportunity that you could to do it, right? Because you value that person and you know it's a matter of life and death. And so that value of saving someone you love is more important than I don't have the money sitting in my account. It's about creating the life and the business that you want and making your dreams happen. I've said it before and I'll say it again, that if my husband and I had the option of borrowing and leveraging every asset we could, selling our house, living on the street, taking out every credit card, ruining our credit, all of those things in order to save the life of our daughter, if we had that option, if it wasn't something that's completely out of our control and inexplicable and that we had no notice for and all of that, if we had to do that, we would have done it. We would have done it, and we would have been damn happy living on the street starting from scratch, because that would have meant we had Nate with us. So that's what I mean by being honest about what you value. Because if you say you don't have the money, and look, I know we all have a ton of programming around this, and a lot of fear, and a lot of guilt, and a lot of pressure around money, and a lot of bad experiences and programming. But if you say you don't have the money, then what you're saying is it's not important enough to me for it to be worth that amount. If it's that you really don't want to work with someone, or you really don't want to buy this program, or this isn't a good fit for you, and you say, oh, I don't have the money and that's the reason, fine. But just be honest, because this is about creating the life that you want and making that happen. And how important is it to you? Is it more important than, worrying about the debt and how you're going to pay it back if you put it on a card? Or is it less important and you say, I'm willing to wait a little while to make this come true? But if you know that you're being called to this today, you can find a way. You're on this scope. You have access to resources that most people in the tide of history have not, and most people in the world do not. And so I am such a big believer in getting creative and being open to how money can come in, and recognizing that we have the power to create the lives that we want, rather than waiting for something outside of us to make it happen. Rather than waiting for a tragedy to wake you up and go, oh my gosh, life is completely different than I thought. And if you have one in your past, then I'm really passionate about using that, and using the fact that you survived that to go, you know what? If I survive that, I can freaking survive anything. So I'm not waiting around. I am a person who gets things done because I survived that. I survived that tragedy. I survived that loss. I am a person who is capable of solving problems, of going for what I want, of making my dreams happen, and of starting today. You can tell I'm super passionate about this, because I know the difference of how it feels to say I can't afford it, and that helpless place that it puts you in, as opposed to saying this is something I really want and I'm going to find a way to do it. I was 23 years old and I wanted to buy my first $40,000 horse, and I was making low 30s. Guess what? I found a way to do it. I was 24 years old and I wanted to buy my second $40,000 horse, and I was making the low 30s with debt and bills, etc. Guess what? I found a way to do it. I want to start my own business. I found a way to do it with no money. And if you've heard me talk about this, you know, sitting at a nasty little counter for mica with the wooden beams and a 70s bachelor pad when my husband and I got married and I moved in and I was like, no money, I have nothing, I don't know what's going on, this is crazy. But I did it! I did it! And so now I know it's possible. And now I loan my clients that belief and help them believe in themselves and also help them figure out a super strategic plan for their specific business. So that at the end of the 3 months of working with me, the thing that I hear most often is like, you changed my life. And it's such an honor to be a part of that process because the truth is they do the work. They get to decide how far they want to go. But they take themselves seriously. They find a way to put their money where their mouth is and to make those dreams a reality, to show up every week with me on the phone, to email me with questions to be honest and real, bring their doubts and their fears and do the freaking work. Because this is as much about you becoming the woman you need to be to run a successful business as it is learning the systems and strategies. You know, usually my clients don't even realize how much they need to learn about themselves and about their belief in themselves and all of that until the end when they're looking back and going, I thought what I needed was a website. I thought what I needed was a Facebook page. Thank God you didn't just listen to me. Thank God you challenged me and said, well, it sounds like you don't believe that this could happen. It sounds like you don't believe, it sounds like you're making a plan B. If this is something that you really, really want, then together we're going to make it happen. With my support, we are going to make it happen. And these businesses grow and flourish and bloom within weeks. It's just incredible. Incredible, incredible, incredible. And I want that for every one of you. I want that for every person who has this dream because I believe God gives us these dreams for a reason. Because the more we have, the more we can give. Money isn't evil. Money magnifies what's already there. So if you're a generous person, you're going to be generous on a bigger level when you have more money. If you're a full anxious person, you're going to be a lot more anxious when you have more money. And so this is about becoming the person who creates solutions to her problems, as well as becoming a person who is able to give more. My passion is not just about making money to make money. I dream of showing my horses. I dream of funding more microloans for women who are not in need of coaching services. They're in need of basic, being basically taught about finance and all of those types of things. It's one of my favorite things to do, because they get accountability and they learn how to manage their money and they learn how to manage this money and have like a 99% repayment rate to up-level and grow their businesses and, develop in countries. I have a dream of making it possible for the babies that can be saved before they're born to not pass away for lack of medical care, because we couldn't have done that for Maeve, but I believe that part of her legacy is doing that for babies who can be saved with medical intervention. And so that's going to take money, and I want to be the one to spearhead that worldwide. I want to be able to provide employment. Amazing! I bet. And I've trained, your cherished memories are competing in training. I put my horse under saddle myself, but I've never been consistently in training. And so that's something I really want to do, is get him into a training barn so that we can really up-level in a discipline and be able to share and compete in all of those things. Like, it's one of the things that I most love to do and that makes me feel most alive is being with him. And so I love a challenge, obviously. So I want to be able to do that with him. And I know that that's going to take a serious commitment. And I, have really enjoyed him in the way that I have. But at some point I want to get him into a training barn that has the methods I want to use and where it's close to all of those things and start competing. Right? I've never had that opportunity. We've just done a show here and there. So I want to be able to give away, and I also want to be able to give jobs to the people in my life who need them. I want to be that person that they can come to. You know, the women who are on my team are also dear friends, and that's really important to me because we all share the same values, and we all want to empower as many women as we can. And I also want my friends to benefit from my hard work. It's really important to me for my friends and family to benefit from all these hours that I put in building my business and from the values and all of those things. So I have so many dreams. And the more money, I want to be able to, you know, buy my parents a retirement home and spoil them and do the things for them that they chose not to do because they were taking care of us. All of these things, I want to be able to do that, those things for them, and they require money. I would love to give away more money than I keep, even to the point of being like a 90% reverse tither, where you give away 90 and you live on 10%. Oh my gosh, right? But that requires more money. So I just share all of that because it's not just about the money. It's about money as a tool and what it can do. Money can change your life for good or bad, right? But it's really worth thinking about some of this, your ideas around money, and if they're keeping you stuck or if they're helping you. Are they keeping you stuck and holding you back from your dreams? And is there another way? Is there another way to be open to? Because everything that you've done has gotten to you to where you are today. And so tomorrow is depending on what you do today, right? And if you don't have something that you want, that just means there's something you don't know yet. So what is it that you don't know? What's calling to you? What's speaking to you? You know, what dreams are in your heart that are yet to be realized, and what can you do to start with them today? That is why I offer free coaching calls to every woman in my community, because I want to help every woman figure out what her next right step is. That is why I created my 3-month high-level program to mentor women who are committed, you know, an 11 out of 10 to taking it and making their dream a reality. They're just done being stuck. They're done being overwhelmed. They are done trying and throwing things against the wall and seeing what sticks. They are done downloading every freebie in the world and taking advantage and trying to piece it all together and outsmart the system. They are ready to focus on them. They are ready for a clear plan. They are ready for crazy, crazy momentum and success. They are ready to succeed for real, and they're drawing a line in the sand and saying, no more of this. I'm becoming this. My business is becoming this. My income is becoming this. Let's do it. I'm open to learning. And I know how scary that can be, but that's why I do what I do, is to help other women create the kind of lives that they feel called to, that they have dreams for in their heart, that they know they're meant for, but they just don't know how. Knowing what you're meant for is the most important part, taking a stand for that dream. You do not need to know how. You need to take a stand for that dream and take action that's in front of you today, whatever that is. Whether that's a free call with me, whether that's exploring whether my program's right for you, whether that's something that's been on your mind that you know you need to do in your business or your life that you've been procrastinating on forever and it's been hanging over your head, whether it's taking 5 minutes of working on that today, that's all you need to be responsible for today, is your next right step. Does that make sense? There's a lot of freedom in that, because taking that next right step, that's it. That's it. Pick something and go with it. Even if you don't know that for sure that it's the next right step, doing something is better than nothing. Doing something is going to bring you more clarity, whereas doing nothing is going to keep you stuck. Right? This is my contact page. There's me and Granny Boy. She has whitey eyes. A sweetest face in the world. It's a pretty boy. This is my contact page, lifewithpassion.com/contact. Really exposure, okay. Let's chat. Send me a message. It could not be any easier. lifewithpassion.com/contact. Tell me how I can. You are what I do, or you are why I do what I do. Why I'm sitting here in this loud coffee shop, getting weird glances from people and not really caring. This is so important. This is my message for you today. And I'm super glad that you've joined me. Awesome. Awesome. I'm so excited to talk to you. Just scheduled a clarity call with you, Angie. Super. I can't wait. Can't wait to talk to you. I hope you have a wonderful day. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful day. And I will look forward to connecting with you soon. If you have any questions you didn't ask on the scope, please feel free to email me, info@lifewithpassion. You know, you can join my Facebook group as well, Life with Passion Society. I'm in there a lot providing support, and I am excited to learn about you more and to help you on the path to your dreams. Because I know you're created for unique ones, and to see those lived out, and you're in a position where you can do it. So believe in yourself today and take that next right step. And I will talk to you soon.